When you think of the Trojan horse, you usually picture a cunning trick, a genius plan that led to the fall of Troy, the greatest achievement of the great Odysseus the Cunning. And that's usually how it is portrayed, as a triumphant victory, a masterful plan, an example of how to win with your head. But that isn't the case in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Instead, the Trojan horse is portrayed as the catalyst for all the suffering Odysseus comes to endure, the moment in which Zenia, Zeus's law, was broken and the men from the sea were born. As the movie puts it, our age of bronze is collapsing. And so, in this short video, that's kind of what I want to talk about. And also, disclaimer I guess, this video is about the movie The Odyssey, not the actual original text. So some things like how Zenia is explained in the movie, and the meaning of the Trojan horse, aren't that accurate to Greek mythology, so when I speak about them in this video, I am referring to the movie's version, not the versions from the original poem. So, a central idea of the Odyssey is Zenia, aka Zeus's law. This is basically that you should treat everyone respectfully, treat them as you want to be treated, because they could be a god in disguise. In theory, this meant a society where everyone was treated equally, where no one was left hungry or homeless. It was the god's way of creating a peaceful world. Yet this only worked in theory, with the conflicts of this movie all originating from an abuse of this law. Take the suitors that hounded after Penelope, who drained the palace of its food and wine. They could not be turned away due to Zenia. And when did the abuse of this law begin? What was the one act that set the precedent for its abuse? Well, as already said, it was the Trojan horse. The reason the plan worked, the reason the Trojans brought in the wooden horse, was because of Zenia. They were far more willing to let in this peace offering because of Zeus's law, because that is how one should act. Yet this good faith the Trojans showed was weaponized by Odysseus, leading to their victory, but as we see so vividly, it also led to a pillaging of Troy, of women being ravaged, the city set aflame, a barbaric sight framed as just that. The symbolism of an innocent woman being beheaded as the statue of Athena loses its head makes it clear this moment is the end of the peace the gods try to force onto man. For the rest of the film, we see Odysseus trying to use Zeus's law to make it home, yet every time the law is broken, leading to his men being eaten, attacked, and turned into pigs, basically experiencing what they did to Troy. He can't expect the law to apply to him when he had already defiled it with his own actions. He sees no trust and good faith from those he meets because he never showed that same faith and trust to the Trojans. This, as we know, has almost a ripple effect. After the Trojan War, the men from the sea appear. In truth, there is no men from the sea. The men from the sea are just that, men coming in from the sea. Ones who seek food and so take it by force under the pretense of Zeus's law. During the war, they were an army with a commander, but now they were simply raiding barbarians. After spending so long drenched in combat, it's now all they know. The men from the sea are the result of men who will abuse Zenia, the ones who saw what happened to win the war, and then on their travels home, began to be more lenient to abusing Zenia. Although it's spelled out very clearly later in the movie, we see this being pretty directly communicated to us as early as the first island Odysseus visits. When the villagers don't immediately give their food, Odysseus pillages them and sets fire to their houses, and when he asks why they didn't give them food, the villagers say it's because they thought he and his men were the men from the sea. Which, well, they were. Ironically, he chastises the Cyclops, Polyphemus, for not following Zeus's law, even though again, they broke it first. This idea then ripples throughout Greece. It comes with the stories of the men from the sea, but also through the songs of Troy. The suitors, as we see, are those raised on such songs, ones who learnt their morals and ways from the heroes of Troy. They were told pretending to be a peace offering so you can attack from within was a good thing. So they do just that. The suitors pretend to be there to win Penelope's heart in good faith, but it's all deception, an excuse to pillage her halls of all its food and wine. Like how the gift became a weapon, the pursuit of love became an excuse to pillage. The suitors are portrayed as villains, yet they are no different than the warriors returning from Troy. The film does everything it can to tell us Odysseus and his men are the bad guys, without having to come out and say it. Their black armour compared to the white of the Trojans, the way Circe reacts to them thinking they are here to assault and rob her. I mean, look at their commander in the war. Agamemnon literally looks like Darth Vader. That is not the armour of a good guy. Also, side note, because it doesn't really fit in the video, and I kind of want to mention it, I love Agamemnon's armour. It is pristine, it is impractical, it is unrealistic. And so it beautifully conveys the idea this dude never once got his hands dirty, never had to actually see combat, hence why all he does is aura farm. It was performative armour for a man who acts like a mighty warrior, but never raises his hands. The only person we see this mighty warrior actually hurt or kill is literally a child. Also, the fact we can't see his face makes his men unable to connect to him. It forms a disconnect between them, as he is the leader and they are just sacrificial pawns for him to command as he sees fit. And then the best part of the design, the golden spine on his back. Once again, it is performative, being made of gold, not useful for anything other than looking important, but also because he himself has no spine. He needs to wear a fake one just to look like he has one, because this man is no warrior and he doesn't have a backbone. Anyway, back to the actual subject of the video. The movie over time leaks more and more of the truth to us, blurring the distinction between the hero of Troy and the barbarian he has become, showing he may be a king, but he is also a foreign invader. And so when he returns home, he comes not as a king. He does to his own house what he did to Troy, infiltrating and then massacring. It's a tragic reality that the king Ithaca was waiting for, the one needed to defend against the men from the sea, well, he's the very thing they needed to be defended from. This revelation by Odysseus, that they are the people from the sea, really hammers home the idea that people see their own warriors as heroes, but any foreign warriors as monsters, when in fact they are one and the same. A large part of this story is Odysseus coming to grips with this reality, dealing with his own regrets, hence why he is haunted by Athena, who I think you pretty reasonably can interpret as the priestess who was beheaded in the fall of Troy. Odysseus, having seen and witnessed this among so many other inhuman acts that night, essentially develops a PTSD. Again, whether Athena is real or not, she serves as the manifestation of his guilt, hence why she only vanishes once he feels remorse and admits to his true nature. And all of this began due to his choice to abuse the good faith of his enemy and ride into their walls in a wooden horse, an act that unleashes massacre and butchery onto Troy, paving the way for the men from the sea and for the younger generations to act with no respect for Zeus's law. Honestly, walking out of the cinema, I didn't really think the Odyssey was a masterpiece or anything. I enjoyed it, but it's only after letting the movie sit with me for a bit that I've really grown to love it, and so I kind of just wanted to talk about it, especially about this aspect of the corruption of the Trojan horse and Zenia and stuff. I just found that idea, and them being the people to see it, I found that a really compelling idea. In a way, it's similar to Nolan's ideas from The Dark Knight with the Joker, die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Kind of interesting. It's a similar idea to that. But yeah, I just kind of want to talk about the movie because I quite enjoyed it. You may have noticed there's been quite a few non-anime manga videos on the channel of late. It's not like I'm planning to transition away from that to more films or anything, but I've just kind of reached the point where I just kind of talk about anything that I enjoy now, so don't be surprised if you see a few more of these short movie analysis videos in the future. And if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps pledge to my Patreon, or consider becoming a channel member, so you can get your name at the end of the video, like Rinjack9696, Mr. Sputum, Marimo, Jack Hanma, Patrick Glynn, Sith Lord 906, Darrican Z, and a Candy Sensei.